I'd rather marinate myself in honey, strip naked, and sprint into a crowd of starving bears than admit for even one microscopic second that Snake was a good developer.
Shawty wanna fuck. Shawty likes it rough.
If you've ever had the misfortune of getting invested in a game Snake developed, you already know he's really brilliant at making Roblox games. He's also equally gifted at putting his games down like disabled dogs with terminal illnesses. Have I ever developed a game in my entire life? No. Am I delusional enough to believe that I can make a game better than Snake? Yeah, probably. I'll be going over what game mechanics need to be changed, what races need to be balanced, and how passives should work. DBZ Final Seven Remastered is packed with amazing mechanics. Dashes, M2 flings, chase attacks, race passives, bounty hunting, capsules you earn from killing NPCs. On paper, it's a masterpiece. But anyone who's played for more than 10 minutes knows Snake has a supernatural talent for taking our fun away. Strangling it and patching in changes absolutely no one asked for. What do I mean by this? Let's start with nerfing dashes and getting chase attacks. And slapping and lag on M2s. At this point, the update isn't just hitting me, it's dragging me into an alleyway, stealing my lunch money, and then having the audacity to ask me if I'd like to save 50% or more on Geico car insurance. This update looks good on paper, but the moment you start playing, you realize, wow, I'm slow as shit. If someone runs from you, it becomes astronomically harder to catch them, especially if you're doing bounty hunting. The dash nerfs unironically make regen even stronger. If you're Namekian, all you have to do is wait for your opponent to burn all their dashes, use a high knockback move like Explosive Flash Strike, telekinetic grab, and then you can regenerate without having to worry about taking damage. Same thing also applies with sleep and meditation. Any move that heals you, right? I'm saying this because I ran out of advantage dodges, and this Namekian got a full heal off. I simply couldn't catch up in time. Before this update I could, now I can't. This update pushes androids even further into the gutter. You know, the same race that got absolutely nothing for the Namek update. You know, the same race that gets constantly accused of being overpowered, yet somehow having literally the worst stats in game and only having one dedicated move, while every other race gets multiple passives and transformations. Hey, but at least Android users can pop Sponge Capsule and regenerate keys so they don't get destroyed by God Key users and can evasive. Oh, wait a minute. Snake recently nerfed that too, so Android is walking free kills now. Compared to the game's mechanics, I'd say races are in a far worse state. And before you ask, what do you mean they're in a worse state?
No, Matt, Timmy, you're just an irrational, furious, and you're projecting all your pent-up homosexual rage on Roblox developers.
Well, you may be right, little Timmy, but hear me out for a second. Some of the races in this game feel straight up rushed. I mean, Snake said this game was in development for 7 years. Anyone who has done beta testing, or even touched the game when it first released, knows that it was thrown together within the last 2 years, which is basically last second. Take Aliens for example. I appreciate that Snake gave us the alien race option, but why do they all share the exact same transformations? Sure, I can accept every alien getting Kaioken, that makes sense. But why do they all have Mystic, Max Power, and Fear? Different passives, identical transformations. It just feels inconsistent and unfinished. Having Kaioken and potential unleash on aliens is completely fine, don't get me wrong. But as they level up, why not give them unique transformations? So, you know, picking alien actually feels rewarding. Imagine Beerus types going down a true God Key path, a form that amplifies their high key damage passive but offers lower resistances, so Frieza types still have a reason to exist. That's a great idea. Birder races shouldn't be stuck with fear. giving them a speed-focused transformation that actually matches their identity. Your dress can get a form that lets them teleport around players, giving them a PvP advantage, leading into their, instant transmission theme. And some races should just keep fear, because their passive already synergized with it, like PyCon, Midoriya, and a pool. For them, having fear actually makes sense, for a core transformation. Now, onto passives. Overall, I think passives are in a pretty good spot, but I've had one major issue for months, and it still hasn't been addressed. Saiyan passives, hear me out. I know Saiyans aren't as weak as they used to be, but just listen for 1 minute. Back when the game first drops, Friezas were basically immortal thanks to Zenkai switching. If you look at my older videos, I've been saying forever that Saiyans should get Zenkai switching. Saiyans and Friezas have the most transformations in game, so it only makes sense. Snake finally added Zenkai switching for Saiyans, finally, but the problem is it has a 2-minute cooldown. That's fine for PvE and fighting NPCs, but in PvP, it feels like you're dragging out a fight in a weak transformation and praying your opponent is bad enough not to kill a Super Saiyan in under 2 minutes. Whenever I see a Saiyan attempting a Zenkai switch on me, I delete them from existence instantly. A 2-minute cooldown is completely fine for PvE, but in PvP, it feels like you're playing as a budget Super Saiyan, stalling in a weak transformation, and praying your opponent is legally blind. If the cooldown were around 30 seconds, I'd actually care to stop someone from Zenkai switching. And to keep it balanced, here's the idea. If your highest form is Super Saiyan God, and you Zenkai switch to Super Saiyan 2, Super Saiyan 3, and finally God, going back to Super Saiyan 1 shouldn't give you another Zenkai. Congratulations, you're locked in your strongest transformation until you die or respawn. Same for Friezas. Climb your way up to Golden Frieza. Once you hit it, that's it. No more Zenkais until you die, or you respawn. Not only is this balanced, but it gives Zenkai switching a purpose beyond being a 2-minute anxiety simulator. Zenkai switching having a 2-minute cooldown is completely useless, especially in a fast-paced game where fights end at like a minute. When I'm fighting somebody, my fights do not last long at all, and I'm not going to let somebody, charge up and pop a Zenkai switch off. It's just not going to happen. With a player who's like trash, then maybe, yeah, sure. But with anybody who's competent at anything, they're just gonna catch them. It's just not going to work. Now, if you liked the video, please subscribe. Snake, I love you. I love you, Snake, but just listen to my advice. I love you, dude.